Hello, everybody. Welcome back. YouTube.com/Geek.Loud. It's Monday night. It's 8 p.m.-ish, so it is the Gaming Enforcement Agency. I'm here with Unky Dunky. Hello, sir.
Hello, sir. Unky Dunky on duty, ready to deliberate about some games. Try saying that 4 times fast.
No, thank you. I will leave that to a professional such as yourself. All right, guys. It has been a massive week in gaming, and I can't wait to get started into it. So we are just going to run straight into, if I can find the right button, game notes. Game notes. Boom, game notes. The first one this week. I've been all about it. Guardians of the Galaxy. It is quite the game. I know I'm about, a week behind Steve release, am I? How far off the pace am
I? Yeah, probably about a week, but you may have put in the same amount of time as me. I don't know what to see whereabouts you're up to and see where we're at.
Oh, I've had a lot of fun, I can tell you that much. I think I'm about a week off the boil on this one, but this game is phenomenal. I had to get Far Cry 6 off my plate, which I've done. We'll talk about that in a minute. But Guardians of the Galaxy is something else, and the best analogy I can provide for anyone who hasn't played it yet, think of next-gen Mass Effect, really comedically written. That's the closest I've got for you. They've expanded on the party system. There's constant banter amongst the team. It is absolutely phenomenal. I'm blown away by it. The conversation trees, the branching, the narratives, they're phenomenal. Steve, what are your thoughts?
I think the exact same thing. I'm just looking at the screenshot of you as well. Did you get some collector's edition? Because that suit is absolute fire that you're wearing in that footage there.
No, I just blew up a sidewall somewhere and crouched under a thing, and then it was in another thing.
Oh, well, I clearly missed that one. It's a really cool suit.
Yeah, it's the uniform of the people. And it was funny because I was in the cutscene and she was talking to me as though I was a stranger, but I was in her uniform. I thought it was hilarious.
Oh, I actually had a funny thing happen earlier today. I was playing it, and there was a reference to the writing on the back of my jacket, but I wasn't wearing the Star-Lord jacket.
That's funny, man. That's funny.
So I thought that was quite funny. But no, I'm loving my time with this game. It's sort of the lead up to it. There was sort of trailers out. It looked kind of cool, but it looked good, like it could have been a little bit janky, but this thing's been anything but. It's been running flawlessly. The game is absolutely gorgeous. As you said, the parallels to Mass Effect are probably quite apt because it does feel like a bit like a Mass Effect with the sort of the conversation tree that you have and the gameplay and stuff as well. But
and they just don't take it seriously, so I love it. Anything lighthearted, it's like a lighthearted Mass Effect. I'm all in. I love it.
Absolutely. And normally sort of banter between sort of members in games and stuff can get quite repetitive. This thing just constantly doesn't stop. They're always making reference to something, whatever they're doing. There's banter going on between the characters. They're asking you questions. You get to answer them. They'll have different answers depending on what you give. It's insane dialogue.
Yes. Oh, and that's one thing we should mention. I didn't even grab it, but I was going to. On the channel as well, if you flick back a video, there's a video. I thought it was funny that you could stand, what's his name? Peter Quill, in a very specific position before Drex gets there and starts shadowboxing. It's quite funny. It's on the channel. I liked it anyway. But he's delivering lines to you while punching through your face. I think it's hilarious.
That's great. It's perfect Drax behavior, if you ask me. Now, whereabouts are you up to? Because I've just unlocked the gun, so it now does electricity. Are you that far?
No, I'm not that far. I am right at the end of Chapter 4, I believe. Chapter 4.
Okay, cool. Now, what difficulty are you playing this game on?
Just the straight-up normal difficulty, and the only issue I'm having is the L3, R3 photo mode constantly popping up in battle. We'll probably see it a couple of times in this video.
Yeah, because I've had that, the only thing I have had is the LVRB, which is what I'm playing on Xbox. Like every now and again, you will activate I'll activate the huddle when I don't want to because you're already pushing those buttons. One's like firing your alternate mode, one's doing something else, and occasionally you'll push them together and get into the huddle when you don't want to.
It's hilarious. I had no idea about how that huddle system worked. It's 2 times in battle. It's popped up, and they've had a huddle, and I had no idea how it was triggering. So thank you for letting me know.
There you go. So if you do sort of get through enough battles, and it gives you the ability to do that, and that's how you trigger it. That's how you get all the cool music playing in the background while you fight.
And how good is the music?
Whoa. Oh, the music's so good. I couldn't imagine playing this game on streamer mode where you don't get all the either no music or fill-in music because the music in this game is awesome.
It's crucial, and it's the 100% authenticity. That kid's, what's his name, Star-Lord? Peter Quill.
Yep, Peter Quill, yep.
His teenage bedroom is like 100% detailed perfectly for a bedroom in the 80s for a kid. Phenomenal.
Oh, I reckon
Hats off to the developers.
I spent way too much time in that bedroom at the start of the game.
I was walking around, I checked everything.
Yep. Now, have you noticed? Oh, there's your photo mode just popping up. Have you noticed that the fridge door always comes open on the ship. Have you
What's
noticed
with
that?
I keep walking past and hitting triangle to close it, and I'm waiting for it to resolve in a story beat, but I have no idea.
Oh my! I reckon it's just like one of those things that, like, I thought maybe you close a certain amount of times you get a trophy or an achievement, but apparently you don't. So I'm like, but I can't not close it. It's weird.
I'm just hopeful that, like, right at the end of the game, as we're flying off, he makes some throwaway line about the fridge door. That's all I want. That's all they need to do to pay it off.
Absolutely. And I don't know if you've been there yet. You go back to the when he's a kid in the house, and you go under the staircase and you find a fridge, and the fridge door's open there as well. and you can close it.
That's hilarious. No, I haven't seen that. I have been back to the kids' room, but I haven't seen the fridge. That's awesome.
It was just a small touch. And I was like, these guys actually thought about this kind of thing. To think, someone may do this and, see if the joke pays off, but it may not work on everyone, but it certainly worked on me.
I can't believe how much dialogue is optional, like how many interactions, because I've deliberately now been putting my controller down when I've enjoyed a story to wait to hear if another story follows it. And oftentimes it does. Like, it pays. Like, if you're enjoying the banter, sometimes slow down your playthrough, you'll hear more if you like it that much.
It's crazy you have this big sort of action game, set piece game like this, and then we're talking about how good the dialogue is. But that's just sort of a testament to this. I'm loving the gameplay as well. I actually don't mind the fact that Peter Quill doesn't do as much damage by himself, and you actually have to use your team properly to sort of chain up these different abilities.
I love that. It is so, like, it is critical. You can see me in the fights here. I still can't. My fat finger faults are constant in this game. I'm forever doing that, turning the HUD on when I don't want it on, or then shooting across at the wrong thing, and not being able to trigger the abilities. But you're right. It's critical that you use those abilities to get through the fight. It's brilliant. The one question I've got for you, Steve, I've only noticed this watching my footage back. When I play it, I don't see it. But watching anyone's footage back, this game is way too pink.
Really?
When I'm playing it, I don't even notice it.
The menus, I suppose, they're all pink and stuff.
I never notice it when I'm playing it, but watching the footage back, it's all I see is pink, pink, pink. It's like, it's too much.
I think that's probably, the pink's probably leaning on the whole, like, 80s kind of vibe thing. I think that's probably what they're going for. But yeah, again, playing it, I don't really notice it. And, like, I've been to a few different sort of, we'll call them biomes at the moment. And the game just continues, keeps throwing these different, like, areas around it, and they're all beautiful. Like, there's probably no game this year, maybe Ratchet and Clank, that has looked this good in terms of art design and art direction for levels in game.
Returnal does better, I would say, environmental biomes. But I hear what you're saying, they are right up there.
Just wait, like some of the places you haven't been yet. It's just insane. It just keeps.
And to clarify, I believe I've just finished chapter 4, and I believe, you correct me if I'm wrong, there's 16. So I am only shallow into this game. Shallow.
Yeah. So, and I'm just enjoying where the story's going as well in this. Like, there's a bit of mystery around what's happening. There's some, like, I feel like, I don't know if you would have been this far. There's a moment, I think, in this level where you see a little yellow gemstone. I'm thinking, was that supposed to be one of the Infinity Stones?
Yes, that was my exact question. Yes, that was my question as well. When that happened, I was like, is that an Infinity Stone?
I reckon it is, because they lingered on it just long enough, but then didn't sort of give it anything. But the way sort of Peter Quill looked at it.
Yes, and he kind of recoiled from its power. Yeah, I dig it.
Yeah. So I feel like that was just sort of a homage to that. And I'm just, digging their take on the Guardians and just, I mean, there's, some similarities. You can, just watching some of your footage here, you're getting stuck in a wall.
That's how I roll, Steve.
The similarities with some of the what's it called, the Marvel Cinematic Universe stuff are there, but I think they've done enough to differentiate these characters from them as well.
100%. There is no confusion for me. I'm with you right on board, man. They've nailed it.
I think I prefer this Gamora to the movie Gamora as well.
Definitely. Yes. She seems more team friendly in this. She's always combative in the films.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Groot's got a bit more dialogue than he does in the movies in this game as well.
He does. I would say stealing the show for me, though, has been Rocket. His dialogue has always been spot on.
He's an angry little raccoon, isn't he?
He's perfect. I love him.
But no, this game is definitely taking me by surprise, and I'm absolutely adoring it at the moment.
It is right up there for Game of the Year, and I won't say too much more about it, but it certainly enabled me to view Far Cry 6 differently, but that's all I'll say on that for now.
Oh, okay. There we are. I look forward to hearing that.
Yes, indeed. Now, are we clear of Guardians, Steve? Shall we move on to the second note of today?
We can move on. I'll just quickly go to the chat. We've got Eric Tate in the chat.
Hello, Eric Tate. Welcome, sir.
He says, "Are you doing a live video next week for Grand Theft Auto Trilogy?"
Oh, yes, indeed. You know it.
Oh, that comes out.
That was it. That was the 11th. We were talking about it before right now. I said there was something on the 8th and something on the 11th, and we couldn't remember what it was, but it's GTA Trilogy on the 11th. That's what it was.
So, yes, Eric, you probably will see that, yes.
Yes, there will be a Let's Install on the channel. You can bet on it. I'm going to move heaven and earth to make that one happen. All right, moving on now. One of the contenders for Game of the Year, might be slightly in front of a few others, of course, is, if my button's going to work, and it has, yes, Returnal. Returnal's 2.0 patch came out, and it appears on first investigation as though I will finally be able to get my Platinum Trophy. There's the 2 ciphers remaining. I've achieved one of them, 1 cipher remaining on World 2, and then I'll have Platinumed it. Steve, have you viewed it at all, mate? What are your thoughts? Photo mode?
Photo, I haven't actually gone back into it and looked at the photo mode, but I actually probably will at some stage. I don't. We've probably said on this channel quite a few times that we're not, the biggest, users of photo modes in games. And I think I've said previously,
I actively dislike it.
Yeah. So I mean, you don't, and and I've said before, sort of, I think Ghost of Tsushima was the only one that I sort of fiddled around with quite a bit.
Yeah, your stuff was great though. In fairness, you did come up with great stuff in it.
Yeah, and I've dabbled in them before, and I really do enjoy them. So I might jump in. The Returnal is still on my console at the moment, so I might jump in and look at this whole suspend mode. But now that I've already got the Platinum, I don't probably need to jump back into it. I would have loved the suspend mode back when I was heavily into it, because that would have saved me a lot of heartache.
I can appreciate people with a higher skill level would have used that feature heavily.
There's like nothing like, because sometimes I just wanted to go to a different game, and I just was in a good run, but I wanted to have a palate cleanser on something else on the PS5, and I just couldn't, because if I quit my game, I'll lose my whole run. So it's actually, I don't mind the way they've implemented that feature, and I think it'll make it a bit more friendly for some other people coming in that sort of haven't played these games before.
I've got no qualms at all with the addition of it. I say more power to them. More ways to game is always the best. Now, Steve, if you're interested, mate, I do happen to have a graphic stats update. Do people want to see the stats on that currently?
Oh, mate, you got to chuck the stats up. This guy, guys, he's putting some serious time into this game.
We've crossed over the 7-day mark. We're 7 days, 9 minutes, 38 seconds, 641 deaths. And I'm 1 cipher shy of the Platinum.
Just to give you guys some context, I'm pretty sure, I think my Platinum time on this game, I think, came to 3 days, 9 minutes.
And Colin Moriarty said he mopped it up in 80 hours, which is what, 3 days?
Yeah, I think it's sort of similar time. I think I had 80 deaths, I think was my total in the end as well.
Yeah, so I'm certainly, I think at the higher end there on 641.
That just shows your commitment to the game, Troy. It's fine.
It's such
you
a
love
good
it so much, you've just drawn it out.
It's such a good game.
Well, you might be getting our Game of the Year, so you'd want to be putting a lot of hours into it.
I tell you, man, I will be fighting tooth and nail for this one to win Game of the Year. There's it's going to take a fair bit to take me off it at this point, to be honest.
Absolutely. As I said, there's only one probably game that can do it for me, and that's Halo, but we'll have to wait and see about that.
We've got to wait and see on that one. But yeah, so if you haven't played Returnal yet, there's no better time to jump in. It looks great. It plays great. They've got the suspend mode. If you're into photo mode, that's a thing there now too. And of course, if they've patched all the glitches out, even better. But that's it. Returnal, I still love it. Game of the Year. Watch out. It'll be coming. But next up is over to Steve for Riders Republic.
I've talked about this last week when I was doing the trial, and it's got its hooks into me then, and it's definitely got its hooks in now. Like now I've probably put in maybe 4 or 5 hours. The little fella's had a crack at it as well, and he's really enjoying it as well, which is what I find actually quite enjoyable to watch him play something that's not, shooting people. It's just having fun playing sports.
Is there a specific mode that is the standout, or are they all good?
I've just been playing different races and stuff, so I really enjoy the rocket suit. The rocket suit is so enjoyable to fly around in, and so much freedom in the world. Like once you unlock it, which doesn't take long, you do a couple of sort of downhill bike races and up your level a bit. So probably maybe 3 hours of gameplay, and you've got the rocket suit and wingsuit. But you can just be anywhere in the world, tap L1, you'll launch into the air, and you can fly anywhere. And you've got to you fly around the world. You uncover stuff just by exploring the world, so you uncover different sort of unlocks and stuff.
Is it like a Just Cause, kind of like, if you're slingshot onto a passing by plane, it launches you up in the air? Is it that kind of quick acceleration up?
Yeah, straight up. Like I remember there was a Power Rangers course where you can literally unlock it where you just shoot in the air. This is all you do. Tap L1, he shoots into the sky, and you can just fly around. You've got a boost, and it's just really satisfying. The sound from this rocket's awesome as well.
Wild.
But and then just having the races where it utilizes the rocket suits are awesome fun as well. Except when you go plowing into a high tree that's set right in the middle of one of the checkpoints, you don't see it over and over again, and have to restart the race when it's halfway through. But very satisfying when you finally miss that tree. But no, I was playing a race the other day, and I didn't realize the races actually did this, where you'll be sort of riding your bike, then I don't know where you'll come off a jump, and you'll hit like a snowy slope, and your character will automatically switch to snowboard. You'll do that section of snowboard, and you'll come off the jump.
Switches, you don't have to do anything.
Yeah, yes,
that's fascinating. I didn't realize that. I was assuming there was going to be some sort of swipe on a touchpad or something.
Yeah, so you can if you're just in freeform. I haven't seen races. There might be freeform races where you can pick what you want to do, but I feel like that'd be a bit unfair if you got racing people against bikes, and all of a sudden you switch to a wingsuit and just destroy them. But just being able to sort of go down a hill, like I've had Ollie, like little fella, he's like been riding a bike down a hill, then he'll come flying off it. Then before he crashes, just you tap L1, bring up up on the D-pad, brings up your sports wheel, select whatever you want to go to. So you chuck on the wingsuit, and you start gliding, and then as you come to land on the ground, you switch back to your bike, and off you go again, mate. The freedom in this game is awesome. Yeah, it's so much fun. And it's got you sort of Ubisoft feel about big open world, but it's not just you to collect the fine stuff, but it's worth it.
It sounds very Tony Hawksy, and it might be good for like a couple of 20-minute stints or something. Is there any long-term game? Like, could you sit down for an hour, or is it not really set up for it?
No, you get sucked into these races and stuff. Like there's so much going on, and so many different. If you get sick of riding a bike, you flick over and start doing your snowboard, or you flick over and do your skis. And
is there a good sense of like career progression across everything? How does it tie in?
Yeah, so you're earning stars towards a career overall goal, and that'll upgrade you as you go. So from 1, 2, 3, and up. And as you unlock different things, that will get you your different sports stuff at the start. So I've still got 2 sports I still haven't even unlocked yet, just from that level. And then you're unlocking different, like better bikes, better road bikes, better BMXs, better snowboards, better skis, different types of skis. Like I unlocked these really cool ones that was just like wooden sticks on your feet with and then you're carrying two sticks. Well, that was just from exploring the world. I just found it on top of a mountain, and you unlock these weird
Is there Far Cry type crates, and you're pushing square to open the crate, and that's where you're getting these unlocks?
No, you're sort of just going to these points of interest, and then like it could just be a view that you unlock, and I'm not sure if you unlock a certain amount, you get something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you're holding, I think it's triangle or square or something. Once you get there, then it'll tell you what you unlocked.
And how is it for no internet play? Is there an offline mode, or is it online required?
See, I don't think there is. It does say online only, and all the races you're doing are against. Well, they're not against other people. They're against
like Forza Ghosts.
Yeah, I was going to say like driver tars from Forza. So that. So it seems popular. The game feels like there's tons of people in there playing, even when there's not, which I actually really like the way they've actually implemented that. And if you're playing, harder difficulty levels, it'll pull from people's races that have raced in the harder difficulties.
I'm with you, man. Yep.
As well. So you're kind of racing, people that have already done the race, which I really like. But then there's these things called mass races, which these things are awesome, Troy.
Is this now mass races? How many entrants?
So 64 on the new gen consoles, I think 32 on the older gen consoles.
Sure. Yep.
But it'll give you they pop up sort of every 4 minutes. It'll say new mass race. So you fast travel there. You go stand in a square for about probably 30 seconds while everyone.
Real world Destiny events sound similar to this.
Similar, yeah. So everyone who's actually playing will actually go to that part. Then the race will start, and you literally all start. It's hilarious. And there's like 64 of you just there racing down a hill. It's absolute madness. You can't really expect to win these things, but they'll have 3 different rounds, and there's just people everywhere. What's that game everyone was playing recently on PlayStation? It was
Fall Guys?
Massive. Yes, Fall Guys. It's got that kind of feel to it where it's absolute mayhem, but it's so much fun.
Is it Fall Guys-y in that are the character models bumping into each other, or is it more ghost mode-y? Can you pass through each other? Or?
No, that's kind of the annoying thing is they can actually bump into you, and you sort of get bumped hard left, hard right, so it can be frustrating going down a hill.
If there was any latency, that'd kill me.
Yeah, and you're a bit annoyed because, someone might start at the front of the pack and you might start at the back, and it's impossible to make up that ground with so many players coming through it. But you're not really in it to try and win those races. You're just in it for the absolute madness. You don't even get angry sometimes. It's just fun just screaming down a hill with 64 other players trying to vie for some kind of position. Mate, it's so much fun. So every time those mass races pop up, I try and jump into them, and that says a lot about this, because a lot of times those big multiplayer things, I'll sort of steer clear of those big mass events, whereas these things I actually feel like I want to play. So
now, tell me, does it have proximity voice chat? Because that would be hilarious, I would imagine.
I don't know, actually. I haven't heard it come through yet. It possibly does, but I can't say for sure that it does not. That would be quite funny.
I love the idea of people passing you and just hearing on your speaker, like, on your left.
Oh, it'd be funny. Oh, that's another. These races, so as you jump into them, and like out of nowhere, you're in like a T-Rex outfit or a giraffe outfit with this giant neck, and everyone's riding over these giant giraffe necks. It's hilarious.
And do you think, is there any chance that we'll shortly see maybe DLC motorbikes coming into it, or jet skis?
I think this game is built for DLC and added sports. I think can easily see them adding things to this game over the years. And
like
stuff.
You can see the speed, that that real acceleration from motorsports. Like the engine would be cut out for it.
Yeah, I reckon it could. I absolutely reckon they could add whatever they want to this game. The game's big enough. The way the maps and stuff work as well, and the races work, they're all so well thought of. Considering it's just an open world, like there's always spots to do tricks on and everything. So adding different sports, I could easily see happening. And I reckon there's a bit of legs to it somehow. I think they've walked with Steep and they're running with Riders Republic.
Yeah, nice one, man. And how different would you say the map was currently? Like this map, just in loose terms, comparing it to like a Far Cry 6 map, is it about the same world size?
It probably does. It's possibly the same size, or if not bigger, just because of the fact I know you can fly planes and stuff in Far Cry, but it's definitely more vertical, I would say. Yeah. Well, there's a lot more verticality to this, and there's a lot more density in terms of the actual, because they're not just creating where you're going to walk through it. You've actually got to, think about what, whether you're riding a bike or a snowboard or skis down. So they're actually going to create stuff for you to actually do in this world. So it's probably more intricately created, but it's I don't know, it's just as beautiful as Far Cry.
I was wondering whether maybe we'd see 2 years down the track they'll start to put the Far Cry 4 map in, the Far Cry 5 map in, for this month's activity is go right around that map.
Yeah, and I can see them adding skins and stuff from all the other Ubi games coming up, like Assassin's Creed and stuff, and they'll be charging arm and leg for it. People will pay for it. But no, I'm loving my time. It's just a nice little, circuit breaker game that's just fun. Like, it's a good game. You're not thinking, you have to think at all when you're playing. You're just smashing down a hill and having fun.
It looks great, man. And the little personal story, I went in to pick it up today from the local retailer, JB Hi-Fi, and they didn't have the stock. The shipment hadn't arrived. So no Riders Republic for the channel, unfortunately. We were this close.
Oh, very close. We'll get there.
Speaking of, the trade-in market is now dead. I don't think your trade-in's worth anything.
You may as well just buy digital like everyone else now.
Speaking of stuff I've traded in recently, Far Cry 6, I'm officially done with it. I believe I'm 72% collected of the trophies available. Finished the main story, went around, did a lot of cleanup, picked up all the side stuff that I could be bothered with, and then I just thought, I'm done with this game. It's time. I've traded it in, and then moving on to, what was it, Guardians of the Galaxy, as we said earlier. I've never been more convinced it was time to move on to a game than it was such a breath of fresh air. I didn't realize how stale Far Cry 6 felt. What was I, 75 hours in, I believe? 75 hours?
That's a lot of hours.
It was very stale by that point. It was time to move on, so I'm glad I have. But so I'm officially done with Far Cry 6. Steve, have you looked any further into the old girl?
I haven't had much time with it. It's just, as you said, Guardians came out, and it's sort of taking me away from it at the moment.
And
not that I don't want to get back to it. It is just, it's not like the fact that I haven't finished it. I'll definitely go back and finish Far Cry, but
yes,
I don't think it's going to be one of those games where I go back 100%, mainly because it's massive and it probably can get a bit Ubi samey.
Yeah,
maybe when you've got that many hours in it, I presume.
In retrospect, I think 60 hours is probably a good jump out point. If you're 60 hours in, I reckon probably time to put it away, finish the main campaign, and be done.
Yeah, I think I've always enjoyed the Far Cry campaigns. I usually never stay too long after that. Occasionally, do some good DLC, and I might get back into that. But I'm more than happy just to sort of cut and run once the credits are done. So
yeah, this game was fantastic, and it was a real contender for Game of the Year. But as I said, 60-hour mark is about the boil off period. So it's sitting for me now that I'm done with it. I'm comfortably calling it an 8 for that game.
Ooh,
comfortable
no worries.
8, but it's not up there for Game of the Year. Is my point.
Nice. And so you're putting Guardians at the moment higher than Far Cry?
Yeah, absolutely. For me, it's currently Returnal, Hitman 3, Guardians. And then,
big call, big
yeah,
call.
and then It Takes Two right under that. It's nuts down.
Nice.
It Takes
Good to
Two.
see. Good to see It Takes Two still up there, though. What a phenomenal game that was.
That game is brilliant. Steve, sorry you had no further thoughts on Far Cry. Perfect. In which case, it's time for the standoff.
Who will fight?
Steve, who is standing off this week?
Who's standing off this week? We're looking at double jumps this year in 2021 from some of our favourite characters and our favourite games this year. To see, what we're looking at. We've got
Kenna gliding beautifully down the side of a hill here and double jumping the whole way. It's a thing of beauty.
Beautiful. So yeah, Kenna's. Do we go? You want to go through these one by one, or go through all of them and then discuss?
No, we'll go through one by one, man. Just because we've got about 20 seconds of footage for each one, so a little bit on Kenna while we're looking at it.
So Kenna, I wasn't a huge fan of her double jump animation, to be honest. It's a beautiful game, but for some reason, the little twirl or something she does isn't quite as satisfying as some of these other games on this list for me. What about you?
I really enjoyed it, and they do like an explosion of like white sparkles from her feet when you hit that second jump button. To me, it's really helpful as a visual cue to know that the game's like acknowledge my second jump. I actually really dug the explosion of white for like if I'm not looking directly at her or the animation, I can still register that it's happened. If that makes sense.
Yeah. I don't think we've ever seen a double jump where they do a twirl as opposed to a flip.
No, that's a great point, man. I'd never considered it. A twirl instead of flip. That's an excellent point.
So it's weird. So whether it's the lack of feeling like you've got the momentum going forward because she's turning as opposed to flipping, I don't know what it is, but it's not my favourite of the double jump animations or mechanics.
That's a great point you raised, Steve. Now you've piqued my curiosity. Let's move on to number 2, which is Guardians of the Galaxy. And here is Quill doing some excellent double jumping in an incredibly pink room, I'll add.
I quite like the feeling of the thrusters under my feet in Guardians of the Galaxy when you push that thrust. And what's strange, though, about this one is it seems to adjust height depending on what you're doing, though, which I find a little bit strange.
Yes. I absolutely had the weirdest encounter when I was fighting on the edge, and I did I don't know what the correct term is, but what is it, L3 or L1 to pull up Quill's abilities, and then the X, the first ability, that like prolonged jet boost?
Yep.
If you do that and glide the edge of a battlefield, he does this really like wide, high glide thing. It's crazy.
Yeah, so I mean it does feel good. And I love the sound effect coming out of his boots. But I just find it a bit weird that sometimes it feels like you can jump high because the game will let you, and other times you've got sort of like a slightly smaller jump scale than you would hope so.
I agree completely, man. Great points, yeah. But it looks cool as well. It looks cool. I give it that.
Oh, can I just quickly bring up, just in this mission that you're in here, how fun was it when you had you and Rocket and you were competing for a score that he put up on your visor?
That was so good. And then when I got the trophy for beating him in the end and it was a low percentage trophy, I felt really good. I'm like, true gamers unlock that one.
Yep, I got him as well.
Perfect. And then rolling into Psychonauts 3. And this is right from the beginning, the tutorial of the double jump, Steve.
Yes, Psychonauts 2?
Yes, Psychonauts 2. So, whichever one just came out.
I think it's number 2. If we look at number 3, they've done very well with time frames to get that out. No, Psychonauts 2's got a cool double jump mechanic with like the ball thing that comes out. Well, I don't even know what you'd call it.
The little the gooey animation?
Yes.
It's like you're jumping on a deflating balloon, possibly?
Yes, that's the one. It's weird because that balloon thing's actually used for quite a few mechanics. It actually almost uses your mechanic for sprinting in the game because the game you actually walk quite slowly, but if you want to sort of walk fast, you sort of stand on the ball and walk really fast with that. But
yeah, okay.
No, it was quite a satisfying double jump sort of thing to use. You can do quite a few tricks and stuff with it as well because the game's got quite a good physical momentum when it comes to it, so you can actually do quite a few tricks with Psychonauts 2. I don't think you've played Psychonauts 2, have you?
I haven't. This is this footage we captured was me playing from the very start to get until we unlocked double jump. So I've played as much as to unlock double jump. I think I was about 4 or 5 minutes into the game, and that's all I've played.
What do you think of the game in your brief moment? Yeah,
it looks cool, man. I definitely want to get to it. It's just a matter of getting everything else out of the way first. I want to get to it.
I know, right?
It unfortunately sits a little lower than some of the other things I'm going to get to in the next month.
Nah, that's fair. But I like their take on the double jump. It gives him some kind of reason for jumping, and the fact he's actually jumping on something as opposed to just out of midair. So I mind it.
Yeah, no, it looks cool. All right. And then the next one, number 4 here, is Ratchet and Clank. Now, I apologize because I'm on the screen twice and this is very confusing. But I trust you. I'm the one that's with the city behind me. The other guy's the imposter.
Nice. Ratchet. I love the Ratchet double jump mechanic. I think going what we said before with Kenner with a sort of rotating, the old Ratchet takes the old forward flip as far as I remember.
Yeah, it kind of is like a forward, what is it? It might be a forward twirl. I don't know what you'd call it, man. And I know you're on about a 45-second delay for seeing the visuals here, so I'm waiting for the loop to repeat.
I'm just
Here we go, and
holding
he's
on.
jumping, and he does a twirl, a clockwise twirl.
Clockwise twirl. Okay, I have to have a look at this. But I really like that. And the fact that you can use Ratchet and Rivet and they both feel identical to play as.
Yes, they nailed
which I think
that.
is good because they could have gone, they're different characters, but I think that might have upset people because they sort of want to play as Ratchet. The fact that you're playing essentially as a reskinned version of Ratchet, I think did that game wonders. And the fact that you unlock all the same abilities, for each character as well.
Yes.
But no, I really like the platforming in Ratchet. I reckon it's probably my favourite platformer for the year.
Platforming of the year? Does that include all those little platforming sections from It Takes Two, Steve? Because I'm going to say we had a lot of fun platforming in that game.
Oh yeah, you're right. We did. We could probably call Ratchet more of a third-person action shooter platformer. So let's just say it's my favourite third-person action platformer of the year.
I love it, man. We'll just add in more subcategories as we need to. Yeah, perfect. I'm right there with you.
So every game we play this year is getting some kind of game of the year.
Perfect. It's perfect. And then finally, my favorite, Selena. Where are you? Selena with her. Well, I don't know if you can really call it a double jump. It's a jump and forward dash, I would say.
That's right. Well, that was a contention. I almost chucked it on this list. We did argue about it. And we decided to put her on that. I was like, because it's one of those things. Like I was playing a lot of other games, and then for some reason, I went back to Returnal expecting it to have a double jump, and realized very quickly it didn't actually have one.
Yeah,
but my question for you is: would it be a better game with one?
I don't. Any ability that gives me more movement options. Like I don't need. It's not about combat for me. It's about avoiding combat. It's about movement.
Yeah, that's right.
So if that double jump would give me a bigger window to avoid incoming fire, then yes.
Yeah, so they obviously would have had to have talked about it. You would think during the game development whether they have
a million iterations. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, I don't know whether the grappling hook took over from that, so that gave you a fair bit of maneuverability. Maybe they thought a double jump would have given it too much maneuverability.
Well,
I don't know.
So much of it as well, I wonder, is by Biome 6 when it's underwater. So much of that animation and everything carries over. Like they've struck a really beautiful balance between overworld, like, I don't know, air resistance versus water resistance in a jump, if that makes any sense.
Oh, they really have.
Like, they've nailed that. And so I wonder if they couldn't do the double jump and have it make sense in both biomes.
Yeah, potentially. That being said, it does have a very nice jump and dash mechanic. It's one of my favorites of this year, absolutely, when it comes to maneuverability of a character in a video game.
Oh, Celine, there's no stopping her. Look, just quickly, there's the stats. 7 days. There's no stopping her, I tell you.
7 days, your poor wife.
My who?
It's going to go on the divorce paperwork. Played Returnal for 7 days.
Move on to the news, shall we? That's the wrong one. That's got to be over there. Oh, it's chaos. It's chaos, I tell you. Here we go. Thanks to The Verge, story 1. Halo Infinite's new campaign trailer has Master Chief chasing after a bit of Cortana action.
Mate, did you check out the trailer?
I have not checked out the trailer. Tell me things.
Oh, mate, because I remember this news dropped pretty sort of quickly. Like it dropped, was it Sunday night? So we reported that they were going to have it the night before, I think on Game Inforce Management last week.
Yes.
So the next morning it dropped, and I'm very excited for this game now. Like and it seems to be the general consensus amongst everyone that saw that first trailer and was disappointed that everyone's pretty positive on this now.
Wild. That's excellent. So, I'm excited, but as I was saying last week, I don't really like to get the story pieces out of order, if you know what I'm saying.
Now, this is why I'm going to tell you should watch it, because this one, it's a gameplay overview trailer. It's less about story. There's pretty much no story. So people who wanted story are sort of like, I want a bit more story. But this thing is literally a gameplay campaign overview. So it sort of shows you what you'll be doing, and it just sort of gets you excited about what the gameplay mechanics that you can use in the game. It shows, if you scroll down a bit, I think it's actually got a screenshot of Master Chief's unlockable abilities.
Oh, okay.
Now, so he's got different stuff you can unlock now. So for the grappling hook, you can unlock different things. I think they show the level 4 unlock for his dash mechanic, which he's got, which I think level 4 looks like it grants you the ability to go invisible, so you can dash behind enemies and you go invisible and they lose track of you.
Wild. Yes, I definitely saw that somewhere. I saw that footage.
People have sort of said a lot of these sort of outpost areas do look a little bit Far Cry when it comes to Master Chief sort of in the gameplay thing, going after sort of different little outposts.
But
it
that's
looks like
interesting.
And they will look like they act as FOB bases, so forward operating bases. Once you take one over, you can then like call in any vehicle you want to go fly around the area. You can call in weapons and stuff like that as well. You can call in Marines to come and help you as well at these forward operating bases once you've taken them over. So
now, this is all in single-player campaign, or is this a multiplayer only?
This is all single-player campaign stuff.
So then my question is, can I cheese that system and be constantly calling in medics, so I'm just running around with like 8 medics behind me, so every time I die, I can get revived?
Oh, I have no idea. No idea. You've got that shield that's going to keep you covered anyway.
I love it.
Right, and there it is there. So there's all the, so it looks like there's a few RPG sort of mechanics when it comes to Master Chief now. So I'm liking the fact that you get to unlock stuff. I'm hoping they actually lock some of that stuff behind higher difficulties. So like you only get the certain cooler stuff if you play on a higher difficulty or something like that. So you might have to play like the campaign on heroic or something once they actually add co-op campaign to do that, because I can see us having a crack at that.
Well, yeah, that very much speaks to what they used to do with achievements, but I agree completely. In this day and age, modern gameplay reward systems you're right, it'd be a unique, if you're in Fallout, it'd be Fortnite, excuse me, it would be a unique umbrella for getting a solo victory royale, for example.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, the unlocks could just be cosmetic as far as I'm concerned. But,
exactly, but still, it's like it's only the gold umbrella if you soloed it, you know.
That's right. Because, I mean, it looks like they've got heaps of different skins and stuff for the vehicles, guns and stuff in this game. After coming off the flight program, you can see how much they're adding and how much stuff you can customize and stuff, which I'm really excited about. I think it's going to create a sort of much longevity when it comes to Halo, and hopefully this open world format, they'll actually be able to add sort of DLC campaign and extra worlds you can possibly travel to and stuff as well.
Now, have they shown anything that would suggest they get off this one Halo ring thing that they're on? Like all the trailers, it looks like it's on one planet. I want to call it a planet, but it's not a planet, but you know what I'm saying.
Halo ring. This is Delta. I think it's Delta Halo or something like that. It's called. There's a ring you're on. I reckon the developers have done interviews where they've said this is not the only place you go. So I reckon we're all going to. I reckon that's what the trick they're keeping up their sleeve, because everyone's like, oh, where's the campaign? It's open world, but how does the single player campaign structure work? I feel like this is clearly not going to be the first place you go. It's going to be set up. You're going to be in space somewhere. We've seen some cutscenes where he's in space with this pilot character, which we don't know much about yet. So I feel like you're going to be, hopefully, whether you can fly off the Halo ring like you do in, I think it's Halo Reach, you end up, it's obviously story-based where you fly into space. But
have they ever crashed a ring into another ring? That's what I want to see.
No, they haven't. You've had destroyed parts of rings and stuff.
But that would be crashing into another ring.
Oh, mate, can't wait to see what they're going to do with this. I think they've got something special waiting for us. So let's hope the campaign is good.
Fingers crossed.
Mate, look at this gameplay footage. Like it got me really excited, and they've definitely done some resing to the game, because I've seen some before and afters of E3's presentation of this, and then now, and even Craig, the brute that looked terrible, that was all his memes about.
Yes,
even he's had a massive facelift, so everyone just wants to still see old Craig. But I'm happy to see brand new shiny Craig.
There are great A/B comparisons floating around on Twitter and stuff today. You're right, of the last year and this year's version of the same thing. All right, story 2. Now I'm going to try a trick here and see if this works, so bear with me.
He's saying he was said hey earlier and he's back now. What did he miss? He hasn't missed too much. If he has missed stuff, then he can go back and watch it later on YouTube and catch up there.
Indeed. Now, looking at IGN, Steve, I'm wondering why you've landed me on an IGN India site. But anyway, IGN India is giving us Amy Hennig and Skydance's unannounced game is a new Marvel project. A new project.
Apparently, yes.
An original story in partnership with Marvel Entertainment.
Yes, I don't know if you saw this news come through during the week,
mate,
but so Amy Hennig, obviously famous for the Uncharted series.
Yes.
So 1, 2, and 3, and then some of 4 before she got pulled off it.
Mm-hmm.
But no, this is her new studio, Skydance Studios, and it looks like they're going to be making they're partnering with Marvel for a Marvel game. So I don't know. I wanted to get your thoughts on what you thought she might be, what kind of character Amy Hennig could work on as part of the Marvel universe.
Well, has anyone done Captain America yet? Captain Marvel, I'm trying to say. Captain Marvel.
Oh, Captain Marvel. When you said Captain America, I was like, oh, that
No, not Captain Marvel. It seems Amy Hennig, I could see slam dunking Captain Marvel story.
Very true. I mean, she's obviously known for third-person action adventure games, and I think she could weave some good story in that. There's no sort of rumors yet whether she could do a good Hawkeye game as well. I'm not sure.
I just see with specifically, sorry, I should elaborate slightly, just that I can see a lot of the personality traits of Captain Marvel, a lot of the sort of righteous bravado that she presents is in parallel with the original Nathan Drake, I feel. Like,
very true. Yeah.
Personality-wise, she has already delivered great stories with that personality type as the protagonist. So I could see her nailing it again.
That's true. They've got a lot of, like, she's obviously Captain Marvel. She'd obviously have, friend characters and stuff that aren't really well known to a lot of us. So they could actually have their own
stand-in.
Yeah. So she could sort of probably work wonders for that, knowing that we don't really have a sort of preconceived idea of what her, partners are or her friends are. So they could actually do some clever story stuff with that as well. But I was still sad when her Star Wars game got canned. It was a couple of years back.
13. I was devastated. I was all ready for it.
She was, but any Uncharted-based Star Wars game, I was all down for that. So I was very sad. That was sort of before. That was when I was saying single-player games were dead. Then they released Jedi Fallen Order. I realised they weren't dead.
Oh, wait. We read the tea leaves wrong. Everyone come back.
So, I'm excited for a new Amy Hennig game. She hasn't done much for a while.
Yeah, I'm stoked. Bring it on.
You're very happy to see a very nice story-based game by her and set in the Marvel universe.
Yeah.
Now, the question is, though, what do you reckon we see maybe a Microsoft exclusive on this, since they're probably the only they're the only company at the moment that don't really have a Marvel game that's exclusive to them?
They don't, but have EA done? When was the last EA console exclusive you can think of? Because I am struggling to even think of one at this point.
I can't.
Because it's with EA, because it's EA publishing, I say it's going to be a cross-platform.
Yeah, it probably will be cross-platform. There probably is more money to make there. It's just
I just think it's EA's sort of established business practice. So I can't think of anything in EA's back catalogue that would suggest they would take the money for the cross-platform exposure.
Yeah, absolutely a fair call. But I know I'm just happy for more Marvel and
bring it on. They're after Guardians of the Galaxy, I am so invigorated for any Marvel video games I want to tackle now. Bring it on.
I just wish they'd bring another Avengers game out that was solely a single player experience like Guardians is, because it works so well. You don't need to weave all that multiplayer stuff into it.
Correct. Guardians of the Galaxy has just shown them up. Like it's crazy. All right.
And to come out of nowhere, that game was announced at E3.
Yes, I love a short media lead-in. I'm a big fan of
came out.
So good. So good. All right. Tracks. All right, we're getting there slowly. The show's coming together 5 episodes in. Nintendo 64 games on the Nintendo Switch are not too up to snuff, according to The Verge. Steve, these don't look good, mate.
No, they don't. I've seen a few things on this. More specifically, I think Zelda Ocarina of Time apparently runs terribly on it. I haven't checked that one out myself. I did get the expansion, Nintendo expansion, which was like $30 or something for the year or something, just to check it.
Is that the 64 Rumble Pack? No, different Nintendo expansion.
Different expansion, yep, definitely different expansion. That was actually I remember the expansion pack. So that was
how much was it, Steve? How much was it?
Probably $120.
It probably was.
It probably was. I'm thinking back now, it's like, that's ridiculous. But we all got one.
Oh, yeah. I had 2.
Actually, I think the first time I got the expansion thing was probably for Lilac Wars, which is obviously Star Fox everywhere else. But I reckon that was I reckon it was either the Rumble Pack or the expansion pack. I think it might have been the Rumble Pack.
I was pretty late to the Nintendo 64 party. Correct me if I'm wrong. Did the Star Wars Pod Racer game on 64, did it have enhanced by that expansion pack?
I feel like it might have.
Because
that might have been one of the games.
That was the game that got me to get the expansion pack, I want to say. But my memory's pretty flaky at this point. That was a few years back.
That's fair. And what's funny is that we mentioned, Lol, it wasn't Star Fox. That was the first game I chucked in to have a crack at. It runs really well, and the resolution's quite nice. And so I had no real issues with that. It was hard with the controls. You can't remap any of the buttons or anything, which is really frustrating.
That's painful.
Because they've transferred really weird from, like, obviously you had the one joystick on the 64 with your yellow buttons doing things. So it sort of translates really weird. It's hard to sort of, once you get your mind around it, but it was just quite hard figuring out what button did what in that game. But that game still holds up very well for a Nintendo 64 game. I was actually really impressed with that one. So, yeah, reading about all these other games that aren't working too well, I might have to jump in there and have a quick look at those. But I'm excited for what they can do. If they can fix these issues and get a lot of these 64 games coming through, like I really want to play Wave Race again. I loved Wave Race back in the day.
Oh, yeah, man, absolutely.
I remember thinking of that water. Oh my God, it looks so real. Going back now, it's probably going to look horrendous.
What's with all the blue triangles?
So I probably won't have that effect on me this time. Like, well, what was I thinking back in the day? That I think little Unky Dunky back in the day loved that game.
He's sitting there in his green shorts.
Little green shorts. Dolphins in that game. That's how much I loved it.
Good work. Speaking of old games that I love, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas is coming to the Oculus Quest 2. I don't have an Oculus Quest 2, but Steve, you do.
I do. I was talking last week about Resident Evil 4 on VR, and we were discussing what could they bring that's, old to the VR thing. And this is the last thing I thought they would do. And I'm assuming it's going to run as a first person. I don't think San Andreas didn't have a first person mode, did it?
No, I say that, but now I'm like, it's the kind of thing that Rockstar maybe put in a cheat code for. I could totally see Rockstar having a cheat code for that mode, but I don't remember ever seeing it in first-person mode myself.
No, obviously G.E.A. 5's got it, so whether they implement something similar to that for the G.E.A. San Andreas, and if they're doing that, they might even, I don't know whether they're planning on doing that for that re-release for the 3 games next week.
But, is this not part of it? I just assumed that this meant the San Andreas part of that re-release had Oculus Quest 2 capabilities. I drew a wild conclusion, I think.
Yeah, no, because I think it's going to be a standalone release for VR. I don't believe we're going to.
I misunderstood entirely. I
don't believe we're going to. No, I don't believe we're going to see it on the actual launch day. But I think it's more of an announcement that it is coming.
Dang.
Oh, mate, I'd be so excited if I could jump into San Andreas and check that out on VR. That'd be amazing.
I honestly thought that was happening like in a week or 2 weeks at this point. I got really excited there.
Yeah.
Mission.
I don't think they've given us a date for it yet, but it depends how much they're going to do in terms of VR stuff in the game. Like Resident Evil 4 is sort of quite minimal, but it is good with what it does, and it sort of lends itself better to it because it's a slower-paced game.
You sold me on Resident Evil 4 in VR last week, man. I'm very keen to check it out.
Amazing, but I'm interested to see what kind of stuff they can implement with San Andreas. Like, are you playing first person? Do you have all your guns and stuff attached to you at any given time with like a weapon wheel around you? I don't know.
Here's what I want to see, Steve. You in the studio with the Oculus Quest on. In the studio, we'll have the weights, and in San Andreas, you'll be in the gym doing the weights.
It's funny you should say that. That was probably one of my favourite bits about the game, just making my CJ look ridiculously huge.
So that's my challenge to you, Steve. When it comes out, come into the studio. We'll do a little CG mock-up.
So we'll do life imitating art.
Indeed, imitating life, imitating art. That is it for the news. So the news releases of the week. New releases, have I updated? I have. Excellent. Straight up, first one, Fortnite, the Minty Legends pack. I know nothing, Steve.
All I know is that if I'm spending any Fortnite dollars on characters, they are going to be characters that are known to me, like your DC characters, your Marvel characters, your Chris Redfield like last week. I'm not going to spend money on a character that's called a Minty Legend.
Perfect. I'm right there with you. Moving along then, there's unpacking. We could do an unboxing of the unpacking of the install.
Oh, an unboxing of the unpacking. Yeah, it's a cute little game, this one. It's one of those ones where like kids could probably get into, like if you love your I don't know what kind of games you call it, social games like Terraria or all that kind of stuff.
Oh, okay, sure. Yeah, I'm with you.
Where you've got a room, you got to unpack stuff. I don't know. It could be, quintessential game for you if you're a meticulous person and love a clean house.
Unlike, it reminds me briefly of, God, what was it called? The Sydney guys made it. The Sydney developers came out. Was it this year or last year? Moving Out. Do you remember the game where you throw the boxes across the pool and everything?
Yes. And there's a couple of other games that come out this year. I think there's one. I think they're mostly on PC. There's one called Pressure Hose Simulator where you just go around and cleaning stuff with a pressure hose, and it looks oddly fun. And then there's another one I think where you mow lawns, which I think would be awesome as well because I love mowing a lawn. Very therapeutic.
Perfect. Then we have World War Z, still one I'm yet to check out, but I believe a favourite of yours, Steve.
Yeah, World War Z on the Xbox Series X runs it nicely. Looks like it doesn't say Aftermath, which was the newest version of the game that came out, but I'll be very interested to see how that game runs on a Switch with the amount of zombies that are on screen at once.
Well, you've got to wonder at this point,
holding up well.
You've got to wonder at this point, is it just going to be the instance running on a cloud server somewhere, and you're just getting the local stream of the game? Do you know what I'm saying? To pull off the higher end
potentially,
effects?
yeah, because there are quite a few games like that are released on the Switch that do require that, and this I would see would have to be. I'd have to read into it, but I reckon I have to be using that because I can't see that game running on a Switch at all.
Yes, exactly. Way too much happening at once. Oh, hello.
Right.
Yes,
hello.
I have. Excellent. Moving on. Bloodshaw. I know nothing. Do you know anything, Bloodshaw?
I didn't, but I was actually interested in this today because I looked at the shot of it. I'm like, that looks like a movie and not a video game.
It does, yes, very much a front cover of a movie.
It's because it is a movie. It's an interactive movie by the looks of things.
FMV game, is it?
Kind of, yeah. It's like an actual sort of movie. You get to sort of pick and choose what happens. Like it's a choose your own adventure kind of thing. So
sort of like how awesome Guardians is, but do we know if it's anywhere close?
No, it doesn't look like it. It's literally, I don't know what you do, but it's literally like actors, B grade, even C grade actors doing their thing, and we get to choose their fate. I don't know.
I would suggest put your money towards a copy of Guardians of the Galaxy instead.
Or anything else, yeah.
And then there's Just Dance 22. Get those booties shaking.
Oh, Just Dance. It's one of those ones you think it's going to go away. It shows up at every Ubisoft conference that they have. And you got to think, well, how do people keep playing this game? But apparently it still sells really well.
I bet their sales figures did some astronomical backflips last year during lockdown, my friend. I reckon that would have been a lot of people's exercise outlet.
Oh, absolutely. And I think this one doesn't say Android or anything like that on it, but I know they've released Just Dances on phones and stuff, which has been quite popular as well. So
I believe, haven't they already moved the mobile phones to the long-term platform? Aren't the mobile phones matching the what's not Guitar Hero? What's the actual guitar? Guitar Smith. Guitar Smith are doing that live service model. I thought Just Dance was moving the same way, and I think their phones are already there.
Yeah, okay. No, I just don't get this. Like, I remember it being a big thing back when the Kinect first came out because obviously it could track your body movement and stuff. I don't really know how Just Dance works these days where it's obviously has it track your scoring. And
yeah, my boys absolutely love it, man. They play it all the time on the the standard PS4, like the VR camera.
Oh, yeah.
It does that, and it can just track 4 humans in front of it and just scores appropriately. It's brilliant. It works flawlessly every year. It's great.
My question is then, for Series X, how does that work here? Because Series X doesn't have a camera.
I have no idea how Series X is doing it. I assume you could do it by your mobile phone.
Yeah, unless I don't know whether it comes with a peripheral, but I don't really care that much about Just Dance.
When you update the controllers on the Xbox Series X, they say to hold your controller still when you're doing the firmware update. So obviously it has movement tracking in the controller.
Oh, potentially, yeah.
Maybe you just have to hold one hand, the standard Xbox controller, and dance, and it just goes off the gyroscope?
Possibly. I'd love to say I'd give it a shot and let you know, but I'm going to tell you I'm probably not going to do that.
Fair enough. All right. Either would I. I'd pick it up on the PS4 if that was going to happen, but probably not. The Binding of Isaac Repentance. Now, I've never gotten into the Binding of Isaac anything. Does it resonate with you, Steve?
Not overly. I think I picked it up on Game Pass at one point, or as a Games with Gold free game, and I couldn't really get into it. I think it's a roguelike kind of thing, isn't it, as far as I remember?
I do not know, man. It's not a game I've played.
No, we can move on from that one then.
Beautiful. Where Cards Fall? I have no idea.
Keep moving.
Keep moving. Animal Crossing, New Horizon, Happy Home Paradise DLC. Hey, I'm not an Animal Crossing guy. Steve, are you at all?
Well, I wasn't. I actually did get into Animal Crossing at the start of the pandemic, and it was kind of a nice little game to be playing around the pandemic and to sort of speak about with your friends. Well, I've actually got someone at work that she really enjoys Animal Crossing, and she can't wait for this DLC. So, from what I've heard, it's a big DLC. Like, it almost could have released as a standalone game. So people are actually quite excited for it.
Okay, nice one. Very cool. And then we have the big one, no doubt, the biggest one of the week, Call of Duty Vanguard on November 5th. I thought it was November 6th. I was one day off.
Yeah, I think November 5th is the Friday because November 6th is the wife's birthday. So she unfortunately always usually shares a week of her birthday with a Call of Duty release. So
I just love that every year she's happy to receive that as her birthday present. I think that's so big of her.
Oh, she loves Call of Duty as a birthday present. So I get it for every year.
Every year you've got a different photo of her unwrapping this year's Call of Duty on her birthday.
She loves it, but for some reason I always end up playing it more than she does. So
it's a mystery, that one. It's strange.
Yeah, but that's all right. You know, we won't tell her that she's getting that as a birthday present as well this year, so I'll keep it a surprise.
I like that you go all out, though, man. You always get like the ultimate edition for it. It's not like you ever just get the standard edition. You spare no expense.
Well, it's a birthday, you know.
I know. She gets the season pass. She gets all the unlocks, the battle pass. She gets it all on day one.
That's right.
You're a top bloke. What can I say?
That's right, mate.
And then finally, let's build a zoo. That'll wrap up the new releases. Then I have to hit another button that's over here somewhere. Boom. That's it for the formalities of the show. Steve, do we have any questions emanating from the YouTube chat, my friend?
Mate, here we go. Sean Games says, have we talked about G.E.A. San Andreas VR yet? Yes, we just did.
We sure did, Sean. We sure did, Sean. That sounded
Sean
weird.
did also ask, Sean Games, what about GoldenEye? I don't think GoldenEye was on the 64 page just yet. I'll be very keen to go back in and play GoldenEye again, if not just for the nostalgia.
Oh, yes. I'd love to see GoldenEye upscaled and redone. Do you think we'll ever get it, like a Blue Point studio reworking of GoldenEye, something like that?
It'd be nice, wouldn't it? It'd be very nice. Like, I know they did do a remake of GoldenEye for maybe 7 years ago. There was that GoldenEye that came out that was supposed to be the new version of that and redid it, but just didn't have the same thing.
I don't recall that at all. That's my memories.
Yeah, so I would love to play GoldenEye again, and going back, that's probably my favourite quintessential N64 game back in the day. I can't think of any game on 64 that probably had the same effect.
No, it was, for me, it was GoldenEye 64 was absolutely number one, and number two right behind it was seriously Pod Racer. Something about that Pod Racer game spoke to me. I may have returned it. I'm not sure. 7 days.
Yep. And we've got Raven Software's back this week as well.
Hey, Raven Software, welcome back.
And Raven says, how are you going to rate our new game releasing in 2 days, Call of Duty Vanguard?
I am pumped to get my hands on Call of Duty Vanguard. I look forward to doing the install. I look forward to hopefully Activision for the first time in 4 years doing a proper install off the disc. That my fingers are crossed for it. It won't be the 10 meg off the disc and the 900 meg coming in through the pipe.
Oh, that's right. I'm really hoping there's an option just to download the campaign for that game, because I am pretty much non-interested at all in the multiplayer for Vanguard. I think I've already said that I think Halo is going to be my multiplayer game this season. With Battlefield not looking great, and Call of Duty, I'm just.
I should say, after last week, you telling me about Battlefield, man, I went and looked it up, and I've been crying quietly to myself off and on about Battlefield, the state of the Battlefield 4. The Battlefield beta. That is sad news. I'm so disheartened now about that. I'm so hoping for a great game.
I know. Are you keen for the multi in Call of Duty?
Well, no. Well, I'm hopeful as you are that Halo is going to come out with the sweets this year. That's all my chips are on the Halo multiplayer. I think it's the winner. Yep. I'm hoping.
And having played the flight program, the way that sort of the movement's sped up now, it feels a bit. I don't really want to compare it to Call of Duty, but saying it feels more Call of Duty like. But
you can
just having that, having like a sprint and a slide and stuff like that, I think adds a lot to Halo as well, and it sort of brings it closer to sort of, you know, not having Call of Duty and Halo being two sort of polar opposites. You've got something that's more of a melding of the two, so I don't feel the need to play both. I can just play the one.
Yeah, 100%, man.
So, but I am keen for the Vanguard campaign. I think it's going to look pretty. That, you know, the last year's was it Black Ops last year?
Black Ops last year?
Yeah.
Last year was Cold War. Call of Duty Cold War.
Sorry, yeah. So cool. I enjoyed the campaign for Cold War.
That Call of Duty campaign was amazing last year. I loved it.
Yeah, and I loved the DualSense stuff with that as well in terms of the way the controller
Krieg
worked with the
6,
guns.
I forgot all
The
about it.
Krieg
You're right,
6.
the Krieg 6. It was phenomenal.
So I look forward to seeing what they can do with the DualSense. I probably will get Call of Duty on the PS5 as opposed to the Xbox, mainly for those controller features this year. So
definitely, 100%. It'll be, yes, Call of Duty Vanguard on the PS4 with the PS5 upgrade.
I'll just delete every other game on my console to fit it on there. That's all.
Or go out and spend how much on the extra hard drive for your PS5?
Oh, yeah, too much. Too much.
All right, that's going to do it for this week, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I encourage you to go back, check out the rest of the channel, check out the, what's his name? Quill getting punched in the face by Drex. I think that's hilarious. Steve, hey, thank you very much for another excellent week of game interrogation.
My pleasure, mate. Off duty.
Was luck. Hey, that's not it. I love everything about it. Ooh. Old Uncle Donkey.
Donkey.